Welcome to business process mapping tutorial. We will identify and improve the business process with the help of business process mapping tool. But before we start, let me give you a quick introduction of what the business process is all about. So if you see here on your screen, you can see this is a typical business process which has various activities and start and stop event. And I will let you know what is the standard and how we have to map this process. But before that, let me clarify a few concepts here. So what is the purpose of process mapping? So there are various reasons why we should have it, but some of the common reasons that I'm mentioning here is we need to have clarity to see what we are doing, how we are doing it, and why it is done in that way. So that's the reason we will be able to find the best way to do that. Then we will have a better understanding of the operations and increase the efficiency and productivity. Together with this, we will have a detailed understanding of our business processes. So we will have the understanding of all the activities involved in this, and we will be able to identify the irrelevant activities or redundant activities. So that will help us to reduce the complexity. And once we reduce the complexity in the processes, it will help us to optimize the business process. Once the business process is optimized, then we can automate the business process with the help of any business application, an ERP system, or any other system. Now, there are different standard processes also available or best practices available. So we will be able to map that. We will be able to find the gap, and then we might do the re-engineering of our business process. So once we do the re-engineering, we'll be able to see the gap, that how we have been doing it and how we can do it in the new system. These are some of the common aspects or common purposes of the process mapping. Let us move to the next step and see what are the uses of processes. Once you have the business process mapped and you have visualized the process, and once the process is documented, how it will help us? It will help us to do the internal audits in a more efficient manner, in a better way. And it will also help us to standardize the processes across all the departments or across other group companies or companies, and it will create a benchmark for the business processes. Then it will also help us to do the training of our employees, be it a new employee or the refresher courses or workshops. It will help us to visualize the process and do the training of employees. Improving the business process, we have also seen why we do it, and we also improve the business process while if we want to improve the business process, we can have the business process first documented, and then we can optimize it or improve it. And then sometimes it is a requirement of compliance also. Regulatory requirement is also there. So when you have the QMS at your workplace, and when you want to have the ISO certification also, so you need to have compliance, you need to have the business processes in place. It will also help you to do communication. It will help you to communicate in a better way when we are talking about the business processes. So these are some of the uses of business processes. So where do we find business processes? Business processes are, of course, everywhere in our business. So we can find the business processes everywhere. We have the core business processes like sales order processing, purchase order processing, and then all these processes will be having sub processes. There are various repeated activities that we do every day in our business. So this is what the process is all about. But how we do the process, how we map the process, or how we visualize the process, or how we document the business processes, the best way is to take this as a project. So your buy-in is crucial. You have to be part of this project, and you need to make sure that you spare your time to draw the business process, or to get those all ideas, to brainstorm, to document everything. So best way to document any business process is to map the business process. So we can start with core processes instead of doing all the processes on one go. We can start with core processes, and then one session one entire process. This means that if you want to document one process, one business process, in one session you must complete that process. Don't leave it in the middle and do some other work. Complete this process and then only you close this task. So we will be following swim lane flowcharts. There are various methods to do the business process mapping, but most common and most effective and most popular is swim lane flowchart. So we'll be following swim lane flowchart, and I'll show you what is that. So these are in the swim lane flowchart. We are following the business process model and notation, which is BPMN, and this is the global standard, and currently the global standard is BPMN 2.0. So I'll explain you that as well, but these are the symbols that we'll be using. In next slides I'll show you, and in the tutorial also I'll show you how these all uh, uh, options are being used, how these parts are being used in the business process. So BPMN is a trademark of OMG, which is Object Management Group. So they have developed the business process modeling and notation standard, and the current standard is BPMN 2.0. So what is there in the BPMN 2.0? Right now you can see this blank screen. I will show you the process, that how a standard process can be drawn and what are the standards as per BPMN 2.0. The first white box that you will see, this is called the pool. So consider this pool as a swimming pool. If you see a swimming pool looks like this as a rectangular shape. Inside the swimming pool, we have the swim lanes. So this is called the swim lane 1 and swim lane 2. So these swim lane 1 and swim lane 2 can be, we can say it, for example, if this pool is a business process and these two are the departments. So if we see this particular complete pool, or this complete pool is the business process, and this lane is called the department or the person who is doing certain activities. So this is how we name it. So this is called pool and these are called lane. So when we talk, when we draw the business process, or when we map the business process, we can always name it like the pool and first lane, second lane, or we draw the lanes. Then inside the lane, we have a task. Task is a rounded rectangular shape symbol. This is called task. This is called event. A circle is called event. Right now, this green circle means the start of the event, which means that the event will start and the event will end. In the process, there is a start event and there is an end event. And of course, when we have the arrow that will mark, that will show us the flow of the process, the direction of the process. So this is called the flow. And then this particular diamond shape is, of course, we are using this for the decision point and all this, but we say it gateway. There are different type of gateways which are being used in this, which we are using inside the business process. And gateway is helping us to split the tasks or to run the parallel tasks. Again, the flow will be flowing like this, and through gateway we can have the yes or no option that I'll explain you when we'll be doing the process flow in the software. So this is the way we do the process. So this is a simple process that explains you what is the pool, what are the lanes, what is the event, start event and end event, and what are the tasks, and what is the gateway, and what is flow. So these are standard terminologies that we'll be using across the business process mapping. So how to start? Of course, we cannot simply start the business process until we understand what is the business process. So we have to gather the information. We have to understand where we will start and where we will end. And then we have to see who will be the key people involved in this process. And then we will sequence the actions, who will do the activity first and who will do the activity last. And then the business rule, of course, we might be having our policies in place, our business logic in place. So those rules will be incorporated into our business process, and then we will review and streamline. We will review it together. We will understand that where we need to improve the business process, and then we'll streamline, and lastly we will use this as a base to automate. We'll see what can be automated and what can remain manual. So this is how we will start it. But before we start, let me show you the BPMN 2.0. This is the poster that I'll be sharing with you. The link will be provided to you. So you can see here, these are the activities. The rectangular shape is called activities, and this is task, transaction, or event based, or call activity. So you can see the terminologies and details here. The task could be of different types. It could be send task, receive task, user task, and manual task. Flow is also mentioned here, the sequence of flow, default flow, or conditional flow. And if you see here, gateways also. So gateways are different type of gateways are here. Parallel gateway is there, inclusive gateway, exclusive gateway, complex gateway, and event based gateway. And then we have the process flow diagram, which I have shown you also here. This is called the collaboration diagram, and here also it is mentioned pool and lane, and you can see all the activities within the process. And here it has mentioned the swim lane 1, swim lane 2, and there is a pool, inside lane there is task. So you can also understand from this particular diagram. And then there are events. Events are explained here. So I'll be usually following the same events, activities, gateways, and then of course conversation and coherence. But we will be using this diagram, and we'll be using these symbols. Now, how to do that? Of course, we have understood that we have to use the different activities and gateways and events, and then of course the flow of that. But is there any way to do that? Is there any tool to do that? Yes, of course, there is a software. We have been using various software. In fact, I have chosen Bizagi, which is one of the best industry leading business process mapping and modeling tool. So we can search Bizagi. It's Bizagi. Once you search it, you will land to the home page. There are various tools that Bizagi is providing, but we'll be going to business process modeler. So if you go here to platform, so here in platform you have business process modeler or Bizagi modeler. So here is platforms, and here is Bizagi modeler. So we'll be clicking on Bizagi modeler, and you will see here what this says, that it is a free, intuitive, and collaborative business process mapping software used by millions of people across the globe. And it enables the organization to create and document business processes in a central cloud repository to gain the better understanding of each step and identify process improvements, opportunities to increase the organization efficiency. So how it works, helps us to create, interpret, and optimize the workflow diagrams using BPMN, and then we can publish it using PDF, Excel, or Wiki, and then helps us to improve the organizational efficiency, collaboration, and these are all the benefits that we have already discussed about. So how you can start it? You can just simply click on start for free. It will ask you to create the free account. I already have created the account. I'll be just signing in. Once we sign in, you will be signing with your user ID and password, which is provided to you, which you created in this first step. Here I'll be signing in. Once I sign in, it will automatically download Bizagi Modeler. We'll wait for this to begin. As you can see, it has started downloading. We'll just wait for the download to complete. Once the download is completed, you will follow the installation wizard. Just follow the step-by-step installation wizard. And once the installation is completed, you will be able to open Bizagi Modeler. So this is the Bizagi Modeler. Once you come to your screen, you will see the Bizagi Modeler like this. Of course, all the menus on top are same. You can save the process flow diagram, you can send and publish, and then you can print the diagrams. And how to draw the diagram, this will be automatically the moment you create a new diagram. For example, if I click here, new blank module, so it will create a first process here. As I mentioned that the first process is the process 1, which is process name. Suppose I give it a name, and we can name the business process here. I must say here, for example, recruitment process. So this is the recruitment process here. We will draw the recruitment. Suppose we want to recruit an employee, or we want to start the recruitment process in a company. So how I will start? As I mentioned, these are the events, and this is the task, and this is the gateway, and this is stop event. And then this is the flow, sequence of flow, and these are the lanes and processes. So if we want to draw another process together with this, so we can draw the process through the pool, but one pool is already there. We can put the lanes inside the pool. I will just simply click here and bring it and drop it here. The first lane within pool is here now. We'll bring another lane here. For example, if 2 departments are involved in the recruitment process, so we'll be adding another lane here. Now you can see here, these are 2 different lanes here. One will be, suppose this will be the department head, or I can say it functional department head, and here I will say, suppose HR department. Now in a typical business process, in a typical recruitment process, we see that the functional department will initiate the process. So once the process is started, we will draw an event here. I'll just maximize it. So event will be started, a process will be started here. Now suppose if this process starts without the start of any other process, or without the start of any other event, if I right click here, it will show me event type. It can be triggered based on a timer. Suppose any process that starts, it can start with a specific time. For example, on a certain date or time, a specific activity has to be done automatically. So on that specific timer, it will run that event, it will start that process. But in this case, it is not like that. We will start the process manually by ourselves. And what will be the first activity in this process? We will do the staffing plan. So staffing plan will be created by the functional department, and functional department will make this plan ready before the recruitment process starts. So once this particular process, once the staffing plan is provided, and there will be different list of the staff that is required. So based on that, now the new activity will start, and this activity will be job opening. Now of course this job opening will not be done by the department head, it will be done by the HR department. So that's the reason we will move this activity and we'll bring this to HR department. So HR department will be starting the activity based on the staffing plan. So based on staffing plan, he will open the job. The moment job will be opened, there will be job applicants who will be applying for the job. So we will get the job applicant review. So this will be the activity, or he will receive the job applications, receive job applications. When he will receive, he will shortlist based on the criteria which is provided to him, and then he will send the shortlisted candidates list to the requisition department. So he might do a review application, he will do this first screening maybe, and finally he will call for the interview. Call for interview, and there might be, he might conduct the interview here, and based on interview there are applicants which are selected. So the next activity will be that HR department will send the job offer. And now you can see that the process activities are increasing. After the job offer, we might send the job, we might send the appointment letter. And once the appointment letter is sent, the recruitment process will be completed here. But as we can see here, once the recruitment process is completed, the entire process will end here definitely, but it has to start another process also, which is employee onboarding. So we'll right click here, we will do the message here, which will send the message to another process, or we can together with this, once the appointment letter is accepted, it will do the multiple events here. I'll just show you that. So it will close this particular process, and at the same time it will start another process called onboarding. So I will name it employee onboarding, and this will be in fact a sub process again. So I can transform to sub process, which means that HR department will again start employee onboarding process here. So this will be a sub process here, and here we will mention here gateway type, it will be parallel event based gateway. So once the applicant will confirm the job appointment letter, then employee onboarding process will start and the process will end. So these are the activities based on our general understanding we have done. Now we will start optimizing it. Once we discuss that interview must not be conducted here, it must be conducted before some other activities. Or what will happen, for example, when we receive the job applicant, will he send all the review applications to this, or when we will review, what will happen next? So once the review is done, there might be the rejection also. So we might say here selected. So if it is selected, so he will do the call for interview. If selected is yes, then the interview will be called. If selected is no, so he will again receive the job applications. So we can do it in this way. As you can see, as per the review, if the functional department has selected the applicant, so he will be HR department will call the candidate for interview. Otherwise, if it is no, he will receive more applications or he will send more applications. Now you can see this is the simple process here. We can again look for other parallel gateways, event based gateways, depending upon how you draw the process. So there are various processes. As I mentioned, if I start this process, if I go to employee onboarding, I can edit this sub process again from here. Let me save this process first. So you can save it on cloud also, or you can save it in your documents locally. We will edit this process, right click here. It is saving right now. So right click here, employee onboarding, and sub process, edit sub process. Now as you can see, this sub process is employee onboarding, and inside this sub process we will have again lane, which will be HR department, and there might be other as well. So HR department will start this process, but the process will not start as a new process, it will be based on some event. So it will be signal that will be coming from the application, from the first recruitment process. So based on that, the first activity will start. He will assign the tasks to other departments, or he will create employee onboarding. So employee onboarding is a process that will start through the system, through the HR module. So this is what he will do, and then there will be other activities that we can list it down, that we can draw. But I have mentioned you only how to draw the process here. We'll go back here to the diagram 1, which is, again, if I go here, edit sub process, so I can go back to understand this process. So we can name this also. It will be, suppose it is recruitment process, and this one is, suppose, employee onboarding, because these both processes are linked together. So if I want to understand what is the onboarding process, I'll right click here and edit sub process. I'll be able to see it, that this process has started as a signal from the recruitment process that employee has been appointed and he has accepted the appointment, he has accepted the job offer and he has been appointed. The moment he is appointed, then these activities will start. Now if you see here, on onboarding there are various other departments involved. Suppose one department will be the administration department, and there will be the training department, suppose, or we can say it's, suppose, IT department. To just simplify it, I'll just show you that. When the onboarding process will start, there is a gateway that I'll add here. And what is the purpose of this gateway? As I mentioned, that it is not only to split the activities, it is sometimes used to start the multiple activities together. Suppose administration department has to apply for the visa and get the visa, and IT department has to arrange the laptop, in a typical scenario. We will not go into the details whether the visa is approved or rejected, or whether he got the visa or he did not get the visa. That we will see later. And then there might be some induction program, depending upon all this. Once everything is arranged, and for example, after arranging the laptop, they will create user ID and details, and we might include the employee also as a lane here. So we'll add employee as well. Of course, based on brainstorm, we will do this. Now, as you can see, it's not either this or this. We have to do these both things. We have to do these both activities as a part of this process. So we'll right click here, gateway type. As you can see, there are two type of gateways. One is parallel gateway, and then is inclusive gateway. If you see here inside this, there is a circle. As I mentioned, that circle means an event. And then is event based gateway, and then is exclusive event based gateway, parallel gateway, and complex gateway. We will start it as a parallel gateway. Parallel gateway means that these two activities will start in parallel, and the moment these two activities are completed, then the next process will, next activity can start. Now suppose HR department needs to confirm his, or needs to do the induction. So induction will be only done Once suppose visa is ready, once the employee is on board, suppose they will also do another activity which will be uh, pick up from airport, and once this is done, he will join the office. Once he will join the office, then we will be able to do this next activity. Now next activity cannot be immediately started after this. Next activity will be started once the user ID password is created, and once this person has joined the office, and then only we'll be able to do the induction here. And this is again the parallel gateway. So parallel gateway has started here, every activity has completed, and it has merged here again. So it will start here, split here, and then it will merge again here. Once all the other tasks are completed, then the induction will start. Once the induction is completed, the process will, the onboarding process will complete here. Now you can see here, based on this, you may not find it correct, then we can start discussing on this, we can start improving the process, we can add various gateways here, the events here, the message here, tasks here. Now suppose if induction task is a manual task, so you will do here task type is this user task, manual task, script task, this is a user task. If this is getting the visa, this is again a manual task here. Arrange the laptop, suppose this is again a user task here. Create user ID and password, suppose this is a user task here. Now those tasks which will be automatically triggered by the system, there is some script also, suppose, which will be create onboarding. Suppose if we create onboarding, this is a user task, but this will trigger the script, so it will be a script task, so it will automatically create the tasks for all these tasks will be automatically created, get the visa, arrange the laptop, based on the create employee onboarding task. So this will be a script task, and here also this is, he has to report the joining suppose, and this will be again a user task. So these are the activities that might be done within the system or outside the system. So we can then choose how to automate this, how to add other activities, what are the missing activities. Suppose IT department has to register the user on the attendance management system, they have to register his ID, whether IT department should do it or HR should do it. So we can discuss on it and we can then optimize it. So this is how we can draw the business process. Once the business process is drawn, now if I talk to you about the recruitment process, now this process doesn't tell you that how the staffing plan will be done, who will do the staffing plan, what will be included in staffing plan, what will not be excluded in staffing, where the job opening will be done, who will do that, where it will be published. So based on the process, we can make the standard operating procedures. I'll show you that as well, that once the standard operating procedure is made, how we can use that standard operating procedure as a base. Let me open that for you. So I created one sample SOP for recruitment. So if you see SOP for recruitment, there are standard reference has to be provided, of course, the title of that and the company name. You can use the formatting by yourself. So these are first five points. We are mentioning the objective and the scope, what is the scope of this particular SOP, and who is responsible to maintain this and who is accountable to implement this. And then abbreviations, some of the abbreviations will be here, and then the procedure. Now if we see in procedure, we have mentioned the first 6.1 is the staffing plan, and then in staffing plan you can mention the details, that what is the staffing plan and who will do that. So as I mentioned, that staffing plan must be provided by head of department for an entire year at the beginning of the year, with the designation of employee, job description, salary details, and skills required. So, and of course maybe the date on which so based on this, HR department will update the staffing plan in the HR module. So this is the step. If you see the procedure, the first step is this, and based on this first step, if you see, we made the process here. So first activity in the process was that staffing plan. So staffing plan has to be done by whom? We have seen it here. Then the job opening. So job opening must be based on the staffing plan. Based on the plan and recruitment date, the job opening must be created in recruitment option in HR module of ERP. Of course, now we have the software which will help you to do the job opening. So we can do the job opening, and we can mention here. Now see, the next activity is job opening. So similarly, all the activities can be explained here, all the activities which are here. If we feel that we need to make an event here, if we think that some of the activities are redundant activities or not non-value added activities, so you can remove that. And once these activities are removed, accordingly you can update your business process. You can update your standard operating procedure also. Now of course, this is SOP. We mentioned at one place that we have to have the business rule as well. Now suppose if you have an applicant who is your internal employee, so will we allow him to apply for the job or not? This will be defined in our policy. So policies has to be defined here. Based on the policies, this will be mentioned. This will help you to uh, make this process again, make the changes in the process. If for example we are hiring from employees relatives or friends, do we have that policy? So how to incorporate that policy here in the process, and how to update this particular SOP with reference to that. Now if you see here, I have added few points related to onboarding procedure also. So if you see onboarding procedure, so induction and training, who will do that? Now we have mentioned here induction. So induction process will start. If we see here employee onboarding, so induction will start. But what is there in induction? Whether it is an online system where the induction plan will start, what trainings are included, what presentations are included, what employee has to read, what employee has to sign, everything can be mentioned in an SOP. As you can mention here, that email account details. So what is the induction? IT department will send the welcome email on his personal email, which will contain the user ID and password. For the IT systems, that will include the following: email account details, learning management system details. Every staff employee shall give the access to LMS, which will contain the company information, quality policy, objectives, and literature describes our user. So then the ERP details, self-service details, all this, and then the training will have the SOP training, on-job training, IT system training, and so on. So this is how you can write the SOP along with the business process. So business process will help you to visualize the process entirely, and it will help you to optimize, it will help you to improve, it will help you to communicate with the people about the process that you are talking about. Hope this particular video has helped you to understand the business process and to understand how we can use Bizagi software to model our business process. So see you in next video. Take care and goodbye.